This is Charles Rosa. You're watching Second Act Podcast.
Welcome to Second Act Podcast. My name is Justin Sims, and I'm always joined by my co-host, Michael Stone. Today we have a very special guest. He's really a miracle and also a very well-traveled individual, which is perfect for our show, Second Act Podcast. We have Michael Chiarelli today. Michael, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure having you.
Thanks for having me.
So Michael, we're going to do what we do with everybody, and we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes of who you are as a person. So let's start at the Alpha. Where are you from?
I was born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
In 1966. I'm 52. We had a house fire, and I wound up in Florida when I was about 14 years old.
So
I've been here since 1977.
So up until 13, 14, you lived in the city?
In New York.
How was that?
I lived in Long Island, actually. I was born in Brooklyn, but I grew up in Long Island, in the suburbs. And it was a wonderful place to grow up. It was great.
Now you say great. Why do you say wonderful place to grow up?
It was at different times. There was kids everywhere, and families knew families. It was an Italian Jewish neighborhood, so it was really family oriented. You could go to anyone's house on any day, eat lunch, eat dinner, and it was just like one big family. It was a really cool.
Did you lock the doors at night?
Never.
So New York City.
No,
not locking the doors.
You didn't have to lock the doors. Everybody knew each other. Everybody was keeping an eye on you and your kid, and there was no problems. No.
So then you have a house fire.
Had a house fire, and we moved from Long Island back to Brooklyn just for a little while. And my sister lived in Florida. She was married, and she said, "Why don't you come to Florida?" My parents were divorced, and my mother took me and my other brother, and we moved to Florida, I think in August of '77.
How did you feel as a kid? You know, that's a tough age to move.
It was a tough age, you know. It was just starting junior high school, and I had all these friends from birth, you know, good buddies, even like a girlfriend or whatever. And just to leave, and it was tough to come to Florida for us, especially my brother's 3 years older than me. And I was starting junior high, he was starting high school. And at the time, it was really where I moved to North Dade, not North Miami, but it was like Carroll City. It wasn't by the stadium, and at that time, it was a lot of Southerners. Let's just say Southern people who didn't like Northerners. And this is before this was before
fucking Confederate flags. I lived here my whole life. Right. Trust me, I know how you used to be different.
And there was no Cuban boat lift yet. So my brother and I took a lot. We could curse on here? Okay. So my brother and I took a lot of shit, a lot of fights, because they didn't like the way we were New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And
you damn Yankees.
And it was pretty much like that. And they didn't like it at all. And we had to get into a lot of fighting. Excuse me.
No, it's good. I mean, so they hate you because obviously this is not the South Florida that we're accustomed to now, where half the billboards are in a different language.
It was very segregated when he's talking about.
So it was like the South.
In the 70s, it was still like
it was
racially segregated. I mean, that's how it was down
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't have a very big influx of northern people retiring to Florida. People didn't discover, hey, there's a place called Coral Springs or somewhere where everybody's going to come to Florida and start a new life.
It was just starting in the 70s.
In the mid to late 70s, Florida, it was a great place to be, but if you were from the north, you had a little bit of a hard time, especially in school. Like I said, my brother and I used to fight all the time until the kids got to know you. And I don't want to sound cocky or anything, but the girls loved us because we dressed different, or, you know, you saw Saturday Night Fever and they had the hair, and we looked different. We looked like Vinnie Barbarino or whatever that was.
Right.
So the girls were liking us, the guys were hating us. I mean, it was good that way, but...
It makes sense. I mean, you guys kicked the door in, here come the damn Yankees.
Exactly.
You can tell by the way I walk around.
Exactly.
You and your brother was
it was like these two guys, and it was a problem, but that didn't last very long. We only stayed in that area for about 6 months, and then we moved finally to North Miami, and that's where my roots started. I was about 14, and I made friends that are friends to this day, 38 years later, whatever it is. I still have the same best 3 friends, and
so you really planted
my
yourself
roots,
there.
North Miami was my...
Okay, so you really feel like you planted yourself in North Dade, and you found your identity there?
Yeah, that's...
What was that identity?
It was funny because I had this persona. I was a tough guy. I wasn't a tough guy, and no one would mess with me because they thought, that's Chiarelli. Don't mess with him. He'll kick your ass. He's like tough. But through high school and through junior high, that persona, I never had one fight. I didn't have to do anything. And I was friends with everybody, from the special ed kids to the racers to the athletes. They were all my friends.
Every niche.
I was friends with everyone, and I found that was the best way to do it. If you're friends with everybody, you have no enemies, you know what I mean? So that's what I did, and then I was a football player. I played sports. I played high school football. I got a scholarship to play football.
Nice. Where?
I went to Kansas State.
Okay.
And I got hurt and wasn't able to pursue football, and I came back to Florida again, and that's...
Did you stay there?
Where?
Kansas State.
I was there first.
When you got hurt.
Yeah, I stayed there to try and rehabilitate, and it didn't work. And it was wasn't an academic scholarship, so I lost the scholarship.
Okay, I got you.
That's a tough blow
Yeah.
For a young man.
Yeah.
I mean, for this young man, I would have found it an excuse to drink a bottle of whiskey.
I didn't really want to be there anyway. It was cold and freezing, and I was in the middle of corn. And
so you weren't happy anyway?
Nah, I wasn't really happy, and I didn't see it was really going to go. I took it because it was just something that was given, and at the time, Kansas State was like nothing school.
Yeah, now it's like...
Now 3 years ago, it was ranked number 1 for a little while, and so it wasn't the same back then.
Right, they've put up through time. Let me ask you a question. You being friends with all the different groups of kids, how has that transferred into your adult life? Like what tools and you were kind of picking them up subconsciously as a kid, but when you're kind of a chameleon like that, some of that's got to be transferable.
You learn personality. You learn personalities, and I find I'm a good judge of character and personality. I know who to get close with, who not to get close with, who to get into business with, who not to get into business with. It's like on-the-job training of life, I guess. You meet people, you get a good vibe. You could tell, and that's what, from me being friends with everybody, to me, it never mattered what you are, where you came from, how you got there. As long as you don't hurt somebody, I'm for you. I'm a fan.
You're more about who you are as a person.
It's more about who you are. You know what? My dad told me that the only thing you really own is your word. And if you break your word, it's tarnished, and everybody will know that you're full of crap, full of shit. And so you just try and do the right thing and be honest. That's right. That's what I
just said.
Now,
sounded like you were really sharpening your gut. Your gut feeling. Like you could, like you said, you can get on your feeling or on your gut of an impression you get from somebody.
Yeah, I could read through bullshit better than anybody. I mean, I could see someone and they could be like, you're full of shit. Okay, it's like people who let's say people who say, he's in the mafia. I'm in the mafia. You're taught it as an early age, as an Italian kid. You're like, listen, if they say they're in the mafia, they're not in the mafia.
They're not.
It's not.
Because the real mafia doesn't talk.
Right, because that's a big thing kids used to say when you were little. My dad's in the mafia. He's going to come over and kill you. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. And my dad said, well, if they're talking about it, obviously they're not in it. That's like anything else, Right. I'm an actor. I'm a great singer. I'm studying in New York to be an actor. I got a play. I'm writing a book.
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody's nowadays with podcasts, and I mean you can create your own world and do what you want.
Everybody's got a podcast. Everybody's a rapper. Everybody's a writer.
Exactly.
Everybody's a filmmaker.
Everybody's got an idea for a show, and it's great. Everybody can be creative, and if you get through, that's the best part. But
but not everybody can be great.
That's correct. Not everybody could be great.
So you found your niche, man. You sounded like an all-around kind of guy. You were the athlete.
Yep.
You never had to get in a fight because your reputation was don't mess with Brooklyn Mikey.
I didn't.
Don't mess with Brooklyn Mikey.
Actually, my nickname was the Brooklyn Bomber, and that's what they used to call me because I was really good in baseball. I was one of the really good in baseball, and that's what they called me. One of my teachers actually named me the Brooklyn Bomber. He knew I was from Brooklyn, and that's what he called me. And then my nickname turned to Cha-Cha, and a friend of mine.
Yeah, how'd you get that one? From the dance?
In high school, a friend of mine, actually, someone who works for you, his mother.
Not for me, but works for him.
Works for
Nobody
you.
works for me.
Their mother is friends with this woman, which is really funny to the connection, how that connection's there. But her name's Nanette. She went to high school with me. And one day she just yelled out, "Yo, Cha-Cha!" And everybody was around, and it stuck. And from that day, everybody called me Cha-Cha Chiarelli, Cha-Cha, and that's how she got it, and it stuck. And that's been my
Yeah, Chiarelli, I guess I can see how.
Okay, Cha-Cha Chiarelli. I didn't think of the last name.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's
Kinda
Cha-Cha
makes sense.
Cha-Cha Chiarelli. So now everything is, even on my Facebook, it goes by Cha-Cha Chiarelli.
Still to this day.
Till this day, if you go on my Facebook, and people
Nanette.
Nanette.
Good
Good
job.
memorable.
I'm giving you the
Stuck
credit
with him.
Nanette, because you're the one who did it.
I gotta admit, man, if I had to fight the Brooklyn Bomber or Cha-Cha, I'm fighting Cha-Cha every day of the
Cha-Cha
week.
comes out as
I'm not
like a
trying to
flamenco
Brooklyn
dancer, you know what I mean?
Like, I can take Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha's going down, but
The Brooklyn Bomber, I don't want any part of that guy.
Exactly.
So
that's how I got the nickname.
So what'd you do after high school, though, man? You were this all-around guy.
After
Everybody
high
liked
school,
you.
I had the whole thing with the Kansas State, and then
Right.
I came back to Florida. I met my former wife there,
I have one of those.
and I got married in 1989. And my mother was a vice president of Barnett Bank at the time, and she got me into the management associate training process to work for Barnett Bank, which is now Bank America. And I entered that, and I did that for a year, and I felt that I needed to be out. I couldn't be behind a desk and contained, and
It wasn't stimulating something
it wasn't
in you.
stimulating something, even though I was good with the people and I was rising and doing what I had to do, and and getting the accolades, but it was just not for me.
You were good at the job, but the job wasn't good at you.
Exactly.
Sounds like.
It wasn't a good fit for me at the time.
Some people aren't made for working in a bank.
Yeah, that's it. Some people, right.
But I'd probably be like you. I would, maybe for like a year or something, I'd be like, I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna be bad at the job.
No,
It's just not.
my strength has always been I'm good with people. Make you feel comfortable. I can meet you and you can feel comfortable with me in a few minutes, and I give that feel out. So what happened then was a friend of mine he's kind of famous in his own way. I used to play a lot of softball, and he owned a car dealership called Ted Vernon Specialty Automobiles in Miami, and it was a antique custom car dealership.
Cool stuff.
And he wanted me to come there and work and be his manager. And he offered me a good pay, more than I was making at Barnett Bank. I just got married. So I said, hey, I got to go where the money is now.
Money talks.
I'm married. I'm going to have a family, whatever. So I went to work for him for 5 years, and it was crazy. He actually has a show on Velocity right now called South Beach Classics.
I've seen that.
You might have seen it.
Yeah.
Bald guy driving down the road, a big blonde. He still has his dealership.
Almost certain.
He's one of the largest antique custom muscle car dealerships in the country. But it was a Ted Vernon show. Even though I felt like a puppet master most of the times, because the operation was running, because I was doing everything. So, I was doing the sales, the advertising, the transfers of titles, getting the cars detailed, making sure the truck, the whole thing. And one day I just couldn't take the Ted Vernon show anymore, and I quit. And when you're a kid, when you're young, I think I was like 24 or 5. No, I was a little older, and I was like 28 at the time. You don't think you have a job before.
You don't think about getting a job first before you quit.
You don't quit a job till you have another job, especially when you're married for You
didn't plan it.
You didn't plan it, but I did, and I left. And another buddy of mine had a business. He had a medical supplies company.
Okay.
And he said, hey, I got a great business. You want to get into it with me? I said, yeah. So he goes, scrubs, man. I could buy them cheap. You could sell them. We'll make money, blah, 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 blah.
Well, just like the apparel that...
Yeah, the apparel that they wear. You know, back then you have to...
That shit doesn't last long.
Right.
Like if you wear, I guess the scrubs are like, they don't last like
they're
forever.
like this material that's not even like a cotton.
You gotta buy more scrubs.
You know, and the girls, but he had stuff. Back then you had just your basic, you know, your green and your purple and your blue.
The big goofy shit.
He was coming out with like Disney character, so it was like a whole new line.
Yeah, and
so
people in that business were like, been wearing this great
So what
shit
happened
for
was
10
I
years.
would get on the road and I would sell these scrubs, and I was in Pompano, and I saw this place and it said Fed Trust Liquidations. And I said, oh, look at it. And I looked inside and there's all these gorgeous cars. And I'm a car guy. I've always been a car guy. So I go in and I'm looking around and the guy opens the door and he goes, hey, can I help you? And I turned around and it was Jimmy, the guy who wanted to hire me. I didn't know it was his place. He goes, what are you doing? I said, nothing, I'm selling it. He goes, scrub. He took them and he flung them. He goes, you're not selling those scrubs no more. You're working here. I said, nah. He goes, no, I'm telling you. See that little office? That's going to be your office. He goes, tell me what you want. Write it down. And I was like, all right, write it down. Whatever you want. You write down. We'll figure it out.
Wow.
So I wrote it down, and he goes, tonight I'll call you up and I'll figure it out, and you're going to start on Monday. I was like, so I get home and I have a discussion with my wife, and I tell her what happened. She goes, is the guy for real? And I go, this guy is for real. So I wrote down something. He wrote down something even better. And I started working there. And I stayed there for 7 years. And we had more of a family relationship. I was like the son he never had. He had 2 daughters. We sold, my best year, $20 million in cars.
Wow.
And we were just kicking ass. We still talk to this day. He's like a father figure to me. He was amazing to me. He did things for me. He helped me get my first house. He sent me on a cruise after my first child was born. He put a pool in my house. He would just do things. He told me, I'll tell you what, in 1997, he said, if you sell $100,000 worth of cars this year, I'm going to give you a new Corvette. And I said, get the fuck out of here. You're crazy. That's my car. I always wanted a Corvette. He goes, I'm telling you, if you do $100,000, I'm going to give you a Corvette. I was like, yeah, okay. Christmas came, the end of the year. I did $126,000. And he not only gave me a Corvette, but he gave my wife a Lexus.
Wow.
So it was a hell of a Christmas.
I bet.
It was a hell of a Christmas. And he made me vice president of the company. And from that, we stopped with the whole letting the people in, and we just went on eBay. But it didn't sustain, it didn't make enough money for us to be like we were.
Like you were, yeah.
So Jimmy packed it up, and he was one of those guys that was creative, and he always lands on his feet. And he went to the woods of Georgia and started building log cabins. And he was like, hey, you can come with me. It'll be successful. Come to the mountains. And I was like, nah, I'm not ready to go to the mountains. I'm not a mountain guy. I'll stay here. And I had enough money in investing with him in cars and part of the business that I went out on my own at that point. This was in 2000. So what happened was, like I said, I went out on my own. I started Cardan Motor Cars, which is my kids, Carly and Daniel. And I sold the same type of stuff. I did it on eBay. I had a little place that I shared with someone, a warehouse. We bought a warehouse and shared the warehouse. And I did that, sold Corvettes and Mercedes, Harleys, boats, and everything like that.
Still really fine-end stuff.
Yeah, what the people wanted and what was cool at the time, or whatever, wave runners, whatever I could get good that would make money. I didn't do domestic. I didn't do stuff like that. Interesting stuff. It could be weird or whatever, just eye-catching. And I did that. It was a good time. I was in Pompano, and I got familiar with a lot of people in town. I knew a lot of people from working with Ted and Jimmy and a lot of the wholesale people.
And from being that high school kid that was friends with everybody.
The high school kid that I kept in touch with everybody.
So that still was transcending.
On eBay. Mm-hmm. And did you have a showroom or just mostly on eBay?
For Cardan Motors?
Yeah.
I had both. I would put maybe 10 cars on eBay a week, and I had a showroom. It was a warehouse floor, and I had like emblem murals painted, and I'd keep maybe 5-10 cars. I always had about 15 cars at a time in my inventory because that's what I was able to afford at the time.
So we're in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s,
on eBay.
Early
right?
2000s. I had a daughter in '94 and a son in '97, and I'm a father now in my 30s. I have a beautiful house in Hollywood.
Got your boy, got your girl.
Life's great. And I got my car dealership, and like I said, the car business started getting harder and harder. Deals were starting to get harder and harder. Cars were getting harder and harder to find, and I had to figure out another way to make more money. So I kept doing it. I started doing it from my house. I built an office in my house. I got rid of I sold the warehouse with a partner. He went his way, I went my way. I built an office in the house, and I was selling cars basically off my driveway, and I was doing eBay, and things were okay. I mean, I wasn't starving, I wasn't hurting, things were good. It just wasn't what it was. And I said to myself, one day I had to ship a car to a guy in Texas, enclosed. And I saw the price, and I was like, wow, and this other guy's charging. And I said, this is crazy. These prices are nuts. I got to look into this. So I had a friend who was in the truck business. And he says, oh man, the brokers are the ones making all the money today. And I said, brokers, huh? He goes, yeah, the brokers. They don't own any trucks. They're not responsible really for anything. And they just put the deals together. They're deal makers. I said, deal makers. That sounds like something I would like to do.
Sounds like something that kid from high school that was friends with
everybody. I could take this guy with this guy and send the car here and do here and this and that.
Perfect for you.
I said, this is perfect. So as I was still doing my cars, I said, let me look into this. So the woman who was transporting my cars, I said to her, hey, what's going on? How is this thing? She goes, you want a job? I was like, I can't work now for somebody. I've been working for myself.
How am I gonna? That's digressing.
It's like a digression. I come and go as I want. I pick up my kids from school. I take them to school. I can't go 9 to 5. I can't do it. She goes, I'll make it worth your while. I said, write it down. So she wrote it down.
There's a price for everything.
There was a price for everything. She knew my car experience, and what she knew was, with me, she was getting, I knew everybody. So if a guy needed to ship a car, what were they going to call? They're going to call me and call her. So I said to my ex-wife was really good with reasoning. I wasn't such a great reasoner. I didn't think things. I used jump in. But she was good business sense for me. And she would tell me, listen, you're not going to open a restaurant if you don't know how to cook. You're not going to do this if you don't know. You're not going to open up you know about the car business, but why don't you go learn, figure out what's going on there. Take the job, take off, whatever. So I did. I worked for this woman for a year. She fired me on my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, you're fired. But it was a year, and she was jealous because the main people that she was dealing with, the dealers, I'm talking Mercedes-Benz of Fort Lauderdale and Pompano.
Big movers.
Big people didn't want to talk to her no more. They want to talk to me. So she didn't like that. And the girls, I had 12 girls working for me at the time, they were losing kind of respect because she was a hard ass. Bonuses to the girls and setting things up, and they were loving. And then she came in I swear it was on my birthday, and she said, you're fired. I said, for what? She goes, it ain't working out. I said, all right.
It ain't working out. You're making me look bad. But you're making me look really good.
And the girls were like, what? He's leaving? Oh, can we come with you? And I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So I said to her as I left, I said, you're going to be really sorry one day that you just fired me because I'm going to take all your customers away from you. You can't do that. You signed a non-compete. I said, okay, read the non-compete. It's only for 3 months. I said, all right, I'll take the next 3 months off.
See you in 90 days.
My birthday's in March. I said, I'll take the holiday till June, and then I'll start my business. So that's what I did. That little office I built became a bigger office, and I created Compass Transport Solutions. Me, by myself. I called before I left, I downloaded all my customers from her database. I didn't call them for 3 months. they kept asking the girls. I kept in touch with 2 of the girls. They said, Mike, you get calls here every day. Where's Mike? Where's Mike? Where's Mike? And we're supposed to just say he quit and he's doing different things. So I said, all right. I had the whole list, and June 1st came. Yeah, hey, Mercedes-Benz of Sugarland, Texas. Hey, it's Mike. Where you been? Well, I'm back. I want your business. Okay, you got it.
So they just went.
And then he'd call this guy and this guy here and this guy here and blah 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 blah, and Mercedes-Benz of Ford, and I had them all, and I was crushing it, and things were great. Did that for 8 years.
Was that
till 2007 till 2016.
recently?
Yeah, 2 years ago. What happened with that business is another lesson. Obama changed a rule where they raised, for independent truckers and the Trucking Association, the bond amount. The bond used to be $10,000. You had to have a $10,000 surety bond to operate business.
Just to have that
as a broker. So you had to have $10,000 to cover in case of any damage or bodily collision or damage.
Before you could even operate anything.
Before you could even operate.
Gotta have that $10,000 overhead.
Now I didn't need insurance for my business because when I hired a truck to transport a car, they had to have their liability insurance. And what I would do is go to their insurance company, download their insurance, and I was covered.
Okay.
So I didn't have to worry. But the bond went from $10,000 a year to $75,000.
That's a really big increase.
Giant. All the little guys like me went out of business.
Yeah, it got crushed.
Because
That
I couldn't
sucks.
I couldn't make that amount of money. I wasn't making enough money to sustain that amount of a mark. There was no way I could do it. So it was either...
That's terrible.
It was either take a risk of operating a business without the bond and getting fined big time, and maybe a truck crashing into somebody and killing them and getting sued or whatever.
So you never hear about that stuff.
You don't
unless
hear
it's
about
somebody in the business
industry.
affected.
And I got to tell you, when that bill was signed, not hundreds, but thousands of little companies went out of business.
Just washed away.
All my buddies, because
Wow.
I had friends that did the same thing. I were competitors, but we were friends. So the business, we closed the business in 2016, and I had some accounts to which I sold off and got a little money. And in 2010, I got divorced. Things weren't going so great. Between the closing of the car dan, the opening of the other thing, I was having some personal problems, whatever. Everybody goes through it. Married 24 years. And
It's a long time.
it was, was time to move on for both of us. We're still very close. It's not about us, it's about the kids.
See what we were talking about before, 2 minutes ago, with the fucking guy with the wife's calling the fucking police.
Oh
on him
yeah,
and
you
shit.
know what?
That's totally
that doesn't
illogical
do-
to me how you end up there in that place.
It doesn't do anything but hurt the kids, man. My ex-wife still comes to my house for Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because my kids are like, hey Dad, listen, we're not gonna leave Mom, she's not with anybody right now. Sorry. But we're not gonna leave Mom by herself. So, she's gonna come with us. All right, bring her, she got a boyfriend,
Yes.
bring the boyfriend.
It's
I don't
the
care.
mother of your children.
That's the mother of my children.
Yeah,
I'll do
man,
anything for her. If anything else in this world, I want to be known as the greatest father that ever lived. And my children are the most important thing to me in my life. I'm very close with them. They're my best friends. My daughter now is an elementary school 4th grade teacher.
Cool.
I'm so proud of her. My son's a junior at the University of Florida studying sports management. One day I hope he goes to law school, be governor of the state of Florida, and let me live in the mansion.
We need a good governor.
I would have been like, fucking take the fucking kids. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna get my little apartment or whatever. You can have the fucking kids.
You know what? It was cool. I had this cool little pad. It was all set up the way I loved it. And you know what? I gotta admit, I was like a lonely guy because I've been with her for all those years.
Sure.
And I wasn't the guy who was gonna go out and play the field. And
You
do
weren't
all
gonna be
that shit.
promiscuous and
I had
crazy.
kids and all of a sudden I'm thrown into this whole lifestyle of, hey, let's go here, let's go here. So a buddy of mine said, hey, let's buy motorcycles. We'll go riding. So I bought a motorcycle. I met a whole bunch of new friends, and it was okay. So, am I sorry I got divorced? Part of me is like, not sorry I got divorced, but you miss that family.
Sure.
And my kids are old now,
Yeah,
so
but
it's
once
different.
they go, you don't. What did you miss? When they're 18, they're fucking gone.
Right. What I missed was, because when I got divorced, my son just turned 14, and my
Yeah.
daughter was 17, and I left. And so I missed those great years. Not that I missed them. I mean, I didn't see him go to bed at night, but
Yeah.
my office was still in, because it was my house.
Right.
So my office was still in that house. I would
So
leave.
you're still there every day?
I would leave at 5 or 4. My kids, I picked them up and drove them to school, their whole school.
Yeah.
From the time they were in middle school to high school. I drove them, that was our time. Drove them to school. She went to school with my daughter at the same school. I drove them and picked them up every day and dropped
She the girl behind
So
the
you
camera.
got-
the girl.
Not you
A
watching.
really beautiful girl behind the camera.
Not you, sir,
No, I
watching
didn't miss
it
it.
all.
I missed the aggravation. Eat, don't eat. Take out the garbage. Don't take out the garbage. Take the dog out
All of
for
a sudden
walk.
you're by yourself and you're like, nobody's
That's
telling me
right,
what to
that's
do.
right, that's
Nobody's,
Yeah, and I was like,
Nobody's
hey,
making-
no one's asking me to do nothing.
Nobody's
I don't
telling me
have
how to live my life.
Do, go get me this. Get the groceries out of the car. I was like, hey, this is kind of nice. I do like this.
I ain't gotta do this.
Right, I don't have to
Hey,
do this
watch.
no more. So, so then I'm living the life, I guess you want to call it that, the single life,
The new life.
the new life.
Yeah.
And I still have my office there, but then, like I said, I had to close it. And from there, I was like a nomad. I was depressed. I went into depression, and clinically depressed. That I had to almost be Baker acted, not with drugs, just psychological.
Just losing your
Because
mind.
you know what happens, and I have a lot of friends now in my new relationship, and a lot of the people are worth a lot of money. There's a lot of money on the new friends. They're nice people. I can't say they're friends. They're acquaintances of my girlfriend, but you see big money, and I just say, was I pompous like that at one time because I had it all? I had 3 houses by the time I was 40. I've had cars and boats and trips.
Yeah, you were
jewelry.
raking it in big time.
And then I got to tell you, when you lose it, it's an eye opener. You become depressed when you can't just go to the store and buy what you want, or hey, let's go to New York this week and just take a trip. As a man, psychologically, it affects you. And I learned from that. I learned that it's just shit. Like now, 52 years old, I own the clothes on my back, my Harley Davidson. I don't have any more jewelry. I had Rolex. It means shit. It does not mean anything. They're just items. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I wake up every day. I smile. I have friends. The little things don't mean anything. We have stuff. I live with my girlfriend in a beautiful 5,000 square foot house in Weston. The house is tremendous, beautiful. Basketball court. It's beautiful. I'm lucky to be there. But every day we look around, we live in 3 rooms.
Yeah.
We live in the bedroom, the kitchen, and we have a theater in the house. And those are the rooms we live, and we have an office in the house. Those are the rooms. The rest of the house is untouched. And there's stuff everywhere. And we're like, what are we going to do when we move? I don't want this. I don't
Guys
want this.
just don't get stuff.
Yeah, well, I did. I had a
I don't
man
get it.
cave.
Yeah.
I had a man cave with like shit everywhere. If it was collectible, I was collecting. I'm a drag racer my whole life. I race cars. I have car things. I have Dan Marino. I have dolphins. I have this special Muhammad Ali. I mean, I had all it. And I'm thinking back today, I have pictures and I look and I go, how the fuck did I have all that dust collecting shit? I mean, I try to give it to my son who's like, Dad, nothing personal. I don't really want it. It's like, the people today, I don't think they collect things that I was buying back then. I see them now. They're like, I paid $150, $200 for it. They're like, give me $20. It's like
$20.
So it's like nothing. So like I'm rolling here, but
No,
I'm
keep
just
going.
saying that as you get older, you realize that it's just shit. It's just stuff, and you could balance not having or doing without, because you really didn't need it in the first place. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate enough to say that I had it, and hey, I'm only 52. I could have it again, but I would do it differently.
But it sounds like you grew so much. I mean, so much.
I grew.
That might have been your pre-growth.
Well, that's what I'm
could still
saying.
start your
Well,
growth.
that's what I keep saying.
Yeah, that's what
because,
he just said.
because right now I have a lot of things going on that I think are going to be pretty big, and I'm excited. And the partners that I'm doing, we're very excited. And I have, everything I look at in life is learning to me. It's my college, my school. The Ted Vernon was school. Taught me how to negotiate. The Jimmy Glenn was finance, how to make the deals, how to take with everybody else's money to make money. That guy is the smartest guy I know, and he taught me so much in business and sales.
You're like a PhD in human behavior.
In human behavior and sales. I mean, I have a doctorate in sales. I could sell ice to an Eskimo. I'm serious. I could go in somewhere, and I have the ability to do that. And I'm not bragging on myself, but that's just the way I am. I could go into a room, not know anyone, and in a half hour walk out knowing 95 people.
I believe that.
And that's just me.
Let me ask you 2 quick questions based on all that good stuff that you just said. One, if you and your other half right now are looking to get rid of stuff, I'm gonna give you my phone number after, and
call up with
you can
the
just
truck.
I'll take whatever you
Okay.
need. The other thing I was gonna ask you is,
what is that? Hunk removal.
Yeah,
I just saw a sign on the corner. It was like 2 hunks, trash removal.
I mean, I'm not much of a hunk.
You're
My
not-
wife is much better looking than me.
You got good hair. Don't worry.
I appreciate
You're young.
that.
It ain't going anywhere yet.
God wakes me up
Sorry,
every day and
man.
just says, "Have a good day."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mike.
But look, man, it's coming.
Hey, but
It's coming.
but a serious question is it sounds like off everything you said is that you as a man, you couldn't dig in your pockets as deep, so you had to dig in your soul deeper.
Exactly.
And
I had
through
a
that,
fun-
you found so
Yes,
much more worth.
I became, like I said, I became clinically depressed, and I wasn't functional for almost 2 years. I was jumping from thing to do. I ran a restaurant. I was partners in a restaurant. But I worked in a doctor's office. I did shit that I didn't never think I would do. And I never thought I would work for someone again. And now as I'm getting older, I say to myself, well, maybe I should go work for a company for the next 15 years. Maybe save and have a pension or whatever they're going to give me. I'll be 67 and then I'll enjoy my life. But that entrepreneurial side of me is still entrepreneurial, and I don't think you could ever get.
I don't think that'll ever fully go away.
So it's
if at
just
all.
that way I cannot see myself being told when and what to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. I still figured things out. And
Can I try real quick to tell you what to do?
No, you can't tell.
Damn. I was gonna say, let's look at this picture real quick.
Take the mic from him.
Hold on, wait. Let's look at this picture real quick. Look, I'm telling him what to do. Not that picture.
No.
Sam, go to the next picture.
Here's a
He's
picture.
listening to me. I got him. I got the Brooklyn Bomber.
Yeah,
I
the
tamed
Bomber.
the Brooklyn
You told me
Bomber.
to turn around,
Actually, no. I could probably tame Chachi.
I can't even believe
What
that's
picture?
That's me.
Well, we got this picture coming up. I don't know. All right, who is this guy? Who is that?
That
was the Brooklyn Bomber.
guy.
That's the Brooklyn Bomber.
That guy ate that guy. This guy was a crime boss somewhere. I don't know.
You look like a crime boss. Right? That is him.
That's last year.
That's last year?
That's last Christmas.
2017.
That's last Christmas.
So what happened that you decided?
Yeah,
not
how
to
does
be-
that
Okay,
happen?
well, here's a good story. My father, 5 years ago, he was one of the toughest guys I ever met, and we didn't speak for 5 years. And I had rumors from my brothers that I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and had heard some rumors that he wasn't feeling well. And my girlfriend at the time wasn't my girlfriend, we were just friendly, and her mom has Alzheimer's disease, real terrible disease. And we would talk, and she'd tell me, listen, you don't know how much you don't know if your dad's really sick, you need to go talk to him and figure things out, because you don't want to
No
be
regrets.
sorry and have regrets. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I went, and he found out that he had liver cancer. And my dad was like, I said, listen, I'll go with you. We'll go. I'll make the appointments. We'll go. Blah 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 blah. He was retired, and it was tough. And we went there, and the doctor said, well, we could do treatment, and you could have radiation, and we could do this and that. And then my father was like, I ain't doing that shit. This was him. I ain't doing that shit. I'm 82 years old. I ain't losing my. He was very vain, good looking guy. I'm not losing my hair and walk around like some kind of alien. Just tell me how long I got, doc.
Wow. Just like that.
The doctor was like, and he said, just be straight. I just want to know. Just tell me how long I got. So the doctor looked at me and went, 8 weeks. And I was like, 8? And my brother was with me, my sister, and I was like, 8 weeks? 8? My dad was like, 8 weeks? He goes, about 8 weeks.
He must have been like not telling anybody that his liver was hurting.
No. What happened was he had pains in his back, right? And they checked him, and they thought he had some kind of gout, but I never heard of gout in the back, whatever.
Yeah,
and he didn't move on from whatever. Partially, I'm sure it was his fault by not going, but I wasn't around to push him around, so it was 8 weeks. So from October 17th, that day, he died December 17th.
It was 8 weeks to the day.
To the day.
Damn.
8 weeks. The doctor was amazing. 8 weeks. October 17th, he died December.
Holy shit.
I have it right here. He died.
So what'd you guys do in that 8 weeks? Did
Whatever.
you guys like party and
we did whatever my dad wanted.
Yeah.
My dad loved the ocean. He was a big beach guy, and he loved to cook, and he loved, to be around. So up until the end, I was making mussels marinara. He couldn't eat it. He just wanted to smell it. Whatever he wanted, we got him, made him comfortable, and he went out with his kids around him and the way he wanted to. But he wanted me to lose weight. Because I was heavy then, not as heavy as that picture.
And he had expressed this to you?
He expressed this to me. But, so, he'll be dead 5 years in December. Now, let's go back to 2 years. No, a year and a half. My mother gets cancer of the lung. Now, my mother, if you looked at her, she was 80, when she died she was 86. When she got sick, she was 85 years old. She looked about 69. She looked amazing, my mother. You would never know something was wrong on the inside. She smoked from the time she was 14. So she's smoking for like 70 years.
It's a long time.
Okay? And she had a little COPD, a little cough thing, but vitals were perfect. No heart problems, no blood pressure problems. You never even think, you thought she'd live for 100. So we find out that she's not, I noticed she's losing weight. And I said, Mom, what are you losing? What are you doing? You're not eating, you're losing weight, blah, blah, blah. I go to her house, and in her freezer, there's like 9 cartons of Haagen-Dazs chocolate ice cream. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? I go, what is this? I said, is this all you're eating? She goes, yeah, at night I buy them, CVS has them on sale, I buy 2 for 1 or whatever. So I leave it alone. I talked to my sister who's close with my mom about it, and she's not eating like she used to. She just, maybe she's just getting old. So the doctor, the family doctor that was her doctor, was actually my family doctor who I worked for. So I was in Friendly more so because I was part of them, and the wife and I were friends. And I said, listen, what's going on here with my mom? You got to tell me something. And they're like, listen, there's a patient's, confidentiality. We can't give you any information. I said, come on. So I told my mother, I said, Mom, what's going on? She goes, I'm fine. She got, vertigo. I took her to the hospital. They did the testing on my mom. And when they did x-rays of her chest and her back. And it showed a mass the size of like a tennis ball on her lung. She couldn't hide it no more.
The gig was up.
The gig was up. So she knew for 5 years that was there. And the reason that she didn't tell us then was because we were going through all this shit with my dad. And she didn't want to put us through the whole shit again. She thought it would just go away. That's what she said.
So she did like a protection mechanism.
Right, she was trying to protect her kids, which was worse because, her whole thing was in her life, she had 8 grandchildren and 1 granddaughter. And she wanted to see my daughter graduate from college and a master's and graduate. And she got to see that. So that was her, she wanted to see her get married someday, but, whatever. But she, at the time, I was like, you robbed me. You fucking robbed me of, if we knew, the doctor even said, yeah, we could have went in there 5 years ago, cut that out.
My mom had lung cancer. She had some kind of surgery. They cut that shit out.
Yeah, they could have cut it out. You could have lived another 10, 15 years. There was no reason she couldn't because she was healthy. So she basically did it. She wrote her own destiny. So to get to where we are, that's last year. She's dying. I'm that size, and she grabs my hand. We're by myself, and she says, do me a favor. I want you to live a long time for your children, like I have. You're 50. You've been here. I've got to see you at 50. I want you to be able to see your kids at 50, 60. Lose weight, get healthy. And she didn't have to say no more, and I kissed her, and the next afternoon, the morning, she passed away. And I lived with that, and that was my motivation.
What month did she die?
She died September 7th, 2016.
My father died of the same thing December 13th of 2016.
She died it was just a year. She died in 16. And I took that with me, and I said, well, you know, this is what I got to do. I didn't start right away. I started dieting on February 15th this year, February 15th, I started. And today,
Started how?
I started on Atkins, and then I introduced different things. I'm a cook. I could cook. I love to cook. I create, whatever. And I became very creative in the kitchen. And I would go on Pinterest, and I would see I look under keto, and I would look under recipes, and it's like, well, if you know, it would be better if you use that and eliminate this and do this and that and this and that. And someone told me about these pita shells, these pitas and wraps that were low carb. Because without those, I'm telling you right now, I'd still be that guy, maybe bigger.
So these pitas were the key.
They were the savior of my life, I'm telling you, because, you know, I'm one of those guys who, you could, on Atkins, you could have a cheeseburger, bacon cheeseburger. I could have 5 of them if I want. It don't taste the same to me if it ain't on a piece of bread. I'm that person. Tuna fish all you want. If it ain't on a piece of bread,
I'm the same way.
It doesn't taste the same.
Sandwich, man.
Yeah, you go have a sub. What do you know? It don't taste the same.
Maybe that's the Italian in me. I don't know.
That's it. You need the bread. It's all about the bread. So with these pitas, you know, when I started, there's a calculation thing. You put in your weight, how much you want to lose, blah 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 blah. And mine was like, okay, Mike, you want to lose this and this and this. You need to eat 44 carbs a day.
What's that, like a Cheeto?
No. That's a lot of carbs. If you're on a carb-free Atkins diet, that's a shitload of carbs.
Yeah, you start at 50 when you do the keto, right?
And something like that. And I'm like,
tells you what I know.
I'm like 40 fucking carbs. That's a lot. I could do way better.
I mean, open up a bread
shop. I started. I was doing like 8. I was like doing
8 calories?
8 carbs.
8 carbs, I mean?
It was 8 carbs. I wasn't doing that. I wasn't using, the pitas are 5 each. So, you know, I wasn't eating the pitas. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. And I started dropping the weight. And I dropped like 25 pounds in about 3.5 weeks.
Wow.
Were you going to the gym, doing
I have
walking?
not, since February 14th, I have not worked out once.
Wow.
Okay. And the doctor, I didn't go to the doctor.
Me neither.
And he saw me, I made an appointment with him in August, as just for a yearly, because that was the last time I was there. Last time I was there, I was 262 pounds. When he saw me when I went in, I was 205. He almost had a heart attack.
Wow.
He's like, oh my God, you're the same guy? I was like, yeah, it's me. He goes, you exercise? I said, no. Because in my head, when I work out, I gain muscle very quickly.
Yeah, you have the body type, you get stocky quick.
And what happens is muscle weighs more than fat.
Yep.
So in my psyche, if I work out, there's going to be no sign of weight loss. I'm going to be like, I'm fucking starving myself.
Yeah.
I'm not eating pasta. I'm not doing
Why
that.
am I 320?
Why am I working out like the Hulk?
Which way to the really good rolls, pita rolls?
Right, and it would do something to my head, and I wouldn't. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to work out at all. I'm just going to lose weight, and when I get to my goal point, then I'll start a program and work out. So today, actually, as we're on the air, my goal is 175. I'm at 176 today. So
wow,
I have
dude.
lost that picture, 256. So today I'm 80 pounds down.
Holy cannoli.
My original was 185, but it came and went so quick over like in 3. I was like, I couldn't break the 190 plateau for like 3 weeks. No matter what I did, I starved myself, whatever. I was like, I gotta give up. I was like, no, I can't do it. And then it started coming off, and then I got to 185, and then I weighed myself every day, and I weighed myself, and I ate a lot. This one night we went out, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll eat. And I weighed myself, and I was afraid. I got on the scale, and I lost 3.5 pounds, and I was like, 182.5. All right, fuck it, let's go to 175.
Let's just keep going.
Let's go to 175. So that's what I did, and I'm a pound away. And
Good
But
for
what
you,
happened
man.
with the
Wow.
whole diet? I started on Atkins, and I followed the Atkins, but I added little things here and there, and the keto. And I found I have knee problems from football, and I would get pains and inflammation would kill me. And I did some reading and studying on what causes and the effects, and became kind of involved with what's going on physically. And I found that sugar causes inflammation. So if you cut out the sugar, you have no pain. Well, I have no pain. I have not.
Yeah, sugar.
Because you cut out the sugar.
Yeah, my knees don't hurt.
I eat
My ankles don't hurt.
some sugar, but
Right.
like not like.
Like sugar packet sugar.
Yeah, so
Do you
like
like?
20% sugar as I used of what I used to
Yeah.
eat. Of
And
sugar.
you have no aches or pains or
No,
anything?
I don't get anything.
No.
My knees still hurt.
Wow.
I think I just have a little arthritis sometimes.
Yeah, that could be
maybe.
it, because I still have that. Won't cure arthritis. That's totally different, because I have it in my wrist.
Not all the time.
But the sugar has taken away all the inflammation.
No shit.
I feel like $1 million.
Sugar's the worst.
I mean, I'm in a 31 waist, which fucking 31 waist. I haven't done that since I was the Brooklyn Bomber.
Good on you, man. That
And-
must feel amazing.
So I tell people, they say, how do you do it so long? How do you live that lifestyle? Well, you can't eat pizza, and you can't eat this, and you can't. Well, you can. I'm here to tell you there's a way that you can do this. You have to be creative, and you can't be lazy. You have to be creative in the kitchen. I came up with a crust. Everybody's like, oh, we'll make pizza, we'll use cauliflower. It's great.
Ugh.
It's bullshit. It's soggy.
Sucks.
It's a pain in the ass to make.
Tastes funny,
It
probably.
tastes funny. It's not crispy, okay? And it's high in carbs. People think it's not high in carbs. It's high in carbs. I came up with a creation. I took a recipe, a little bit of this guy's recipe, a little bit of my guy's recipe, and I added to it. And I make a recipe that a 12-inch pizza, a regular size pizza, the whole pizza crust is 6 carbs.
Wow.
Now you could put the sauce on it, it's no carbs. Cheese has no carbs. Sausage has no carbs. Green peppers have no carbs. I could do a whole sausage and pepper pizza, 12-inch. Well, the sauce has maybe 2 carbs, but that's for the whole pizza. So you're looking at a whole pizza with 8 carbs when one slice has about 45 carbs. So what would you rather do? You got the crunch of the pizza. It tastes like a crust. Okay, it's amazing. It's been one of the saviors.
Yeah,
But you
cool
never would have
crust.
found that
It's a
if
good
you weren't
crust.
creative and
Exactly.
if you were lazy.
Yeah.
You would have
Good
just said,
creative
fuck it,
crust.
I can't do it. I'm going to have pizza.
Yeah.
Now I make a calzone with that. I can make an empanada with that. I've made bagels with that dough. And that pizza recipe that I have right now is wanting, there's different institutions that want to take it from me.
I bet.
And put it in their store.
Yeah, because that's like you're sitting on a gold mine with that.
So it's right now, because everything that's Oprah is involved right now with a crust company, but it's the cauliflower, and
it's not the same.
Cauliflower sucks,
It's
man.
49.
Especially for a real Italian.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's
what is this
you
shit?
want crunch. You want to
Yeah,
feel like
you
it's a
want-
bread, and hers is like 49 carbs. And if I double the recipe, it's still only 16 for an 18-inch.
Oprah, our pizza's coming for your pizza.
There you go.
So a friend of mine he has an Italian place in Hollywood called Mimi's. Anything you need Italian. This
Where
is
are
in
they
a
located?
commercial.
Give 'em a little
They're on
shout.
Johnson Street in Hollywood, and they're
They have
nicest
your
people.
crust too?
They're gonna have my crust
Okay.
real soon. They want it, and they know a good thing when they see it. So
We'll be there to check you out. We're gonna drag Michael
See, there
down
you
there.
Yeah,
go. No, because I don't eat dairy either.
He can watch me
You
eat.
can watch.
He can watch me eat.
From where you were a
Right.
year ago,
Right. I would have never thought.
That's a
Done.
miracle.
basically done, given up
Yeah.
on life. Now you got a fucking crust coming
Right,
out.
I got a
54 years, 52, right?
52, and that's
Yeah.
how you read stories like this. And the weight loss industry is $1 billion industry, almost $1 trillion industry. I'm not kidding. People want to find a way to lose weight, and you're not going to lose weight unless you're happy losing the weight doing it.
Yeah.
I'm proof. I didn't do any kind of exercise, and they're like, everybody's like, you gotta exercise. If you don't exercise, you're not gonna lose weight. That's horseshit. I was averaging about 11 pounds a month, and I was still eating. And the truth is, I had to be reminded to eat, because if you go into a ketosis state, you're not hungry. And if you don't eat, you don't lose weight. People think, let's starve, you lose weight. That's not true either.
Doesn't work.
Because what happens is your metabolism starts to eat the fat away, and that's not losing
you do the
weight.
12-hour fasting?
fasting?
Like
No.
I don't eat for 12 hours.
No,
I'm not a keto person.
Right.
But I usually like the 12-hour deal where you don't eat for 12
Right, that
12
that
hours.
works for people. That
Yeah.
I've read about that. I'm a big breakfast guy, so I start my day every day. I have 2 eggs, some bacon, and I throw it in one of those little wraps. So it's 260 calories. It's 5 carbs.
Gets you
I'm
started.
done. It
got
gets me
everything you
started.
need.
Then around 10 o'clock, I have a couple of handfuls of almonds, roasted almonds.
So you're not hungry.
I'm not hungry. I have to eat it. And then around 2 o'clock, I'll take some turkey or whatever I have, some kind of meat and cheese, roll it up, or tuna fish. I'll put it on I buy the romaine lettuce that's long. I spread it on there, or make a
You
sandwich
just
on
wrap
it.
it like
That's awesome.
wrap it.
like a
Yeah,
lettuce
tuna
wrap.
and romaine is great.
Lettuce wraps.
Yeah, you can make lettuce wraps, whatever. It's delicious. So, and then I try and eat dinner, and not as late. 6 o'clock. Anything after that, I try not to eat. Which
Yeah, fuck,
now
I eat late.
a new
Me too.
well, you know,
I eat fucking
me
late,
too.
man.
a new thing just came out that they're saying that eating late does not affect losing weight. Believe it or not, you know what also got me by is the Ready Whip in the can.
Oh yeah.
no
What, the
carbs.
cheese?
No, the cream.
Oh, the whipped cream.
Yeah, there's no carb. There's one carb.
Do you do the whippets?
I used to do the
Whoa, whoa,
whippets.
whoa,
I
whoa,
don't do
whoa,
the
whoa,
whippets.
whoa, whoa.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream, right? So I'm like going. You walk by the fridge. You go. You got your
But it
sweet
gives you a little
taste,
sugar.
Gives you
Yeah.
and sugar-free Jello. I take the thing. I go.
We're not
Yeah,
I need
recommending
to come
this.
hang out at his house.
No, I no recommend that, because that's your sweet. That's what gets you through. for
And like
that
you said,
sweet
you were
craving.
happy. One thing that I
Happy.
think out of all the stuff you said so much good stuff, but one thing that really stuck out to me was finding a process of losing weight that you're excited about.
Right.
Or you're happy
because
about.
when you see it coming off, it's a motivation for you to. You feel good. Your clothes are different. People are noticing. I got friends coming up to me, man. You're like younger than me, aren't you? No, dude. I'm like 3 years older than you are now, and it's like. But
they're like, shit.
It's great. It was great for your
Sure.
yourself to hear. Everybody I saw, I mean, it was like, hey, you look great. Hey, you look great. And when you hear it, and going through this, I was a size 40. So I went from 40 to 31.
Wow.
And I had to buy clothes like 6 times.
But that's fun.
It was
like,
fun,
holy
right?
moly.
It was like, hey, I'm a 34 this week.
I
Oh
just bought
shit!
some more. It's not cheap.
Yeah,
losing
it's
weight.
not.
I just
It's
bought
not cheap.
That's
a good problem to have.
34, it is.
last week.
I'm a 34. Hey, you're a 32. Those shorts are baggy. I got no ass. So pants on me, man, they look funny. They have to be kind of a fit. And I'm serious. So now I look and I'm going, I can't ever go back that way.
No,
There's no
you
way. My
can't.
life has changed. And if
I
you're
want to live
Italian,
to be 85
I want to live
or
to be
92
85
or whatever.
and be
But
a pain
you
in the
also
ass.
delivered on 2 of the requests that both of your parents' deathbed wishes.
That's it.
I mean, that is like you
And-
can't put a price on
I
that.
said to myself, I said, I have many goals in my life, and I could count it on my hand the ones I followed through on. But this one I'm going to do, and I did, and it's been amazing. It's been a journey.
You're such an inspiration to me. I'm 37. I just lost my father to the same thing that you lost your mother to. I'm trying to kind of chase his unspoken requests of me.
Right.
And I'm not there yet. So seeing you, man, is a real inspiration to me. But on the health tip and the weight loss thing, I've never experienced that, but so many people have, and I know that just looking at those pictures, people are in awe of you.
It's just crazy, and the people come out of the woodwork now. I have friends on Facebook, and they're asking me, "How did you do it? Write me a plan." So you
Yeah,
gotta
you
help,
can help a lot of people.
You should start a pod.
It's not
You
that
should start-
easy to
you-
fucking tell
you
people
should-
what you did
Right.
and how
You
to
should
do
start
it.
a podcast.
I wouldn't
You
even
should start-
try.
You should blog.
Why
you should
not?
do because I'm not technical. I don't know that stuff. You know what I mean? I could talk and I could do things, but I'm not technical.
Well, I know that our girls on the podcast are going to be putting your Instagram handle.
Okay.
How else can people follow
They
you?
can
though, in
follow
case
me
they
through
wouldn't want to?
Facebook.
Just like it's spelled up there.
Yep, it's Michael Cha-Cha Chiarelli.
Oh, that's right,
on
Cha-Cha.
Facebook, and then it's Cha-Cha 1966 on Instagram, and I believe on Twitter it's also Cha-Cha 1966. I'm not sure. I don't really tweet. I'm not.
But you're doing something right.
I'm old. I don't know tweet.
So even if he doesn't come out with his own brand or his own cooking show, he can follow you.
It's coming out. The pizza
we'll have
crust.
it back when it comes out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll bring in. I'll make some pizzas. The pizza crust is going to be. It's coming soon after the new year. It's just being worked on.
So this is a promise that when this comes out, you're going to come back.
Absolutely come
Because
back.
what I'd like to do is I'd like to give a little teaser for another story that we have to get in next time you're here. Can we show that next picture? Just give us maybe we don't have time to get into all of it.
Do you want to get into something?
But let's get into a little bit.
I'm here. Listen, the funny thing. Listen.
Who's that?
Oh, that's the devil.
That's
the devil.
If you don't recognize his face, I recognize his face.
Yeah, I do too.
Listen, to me, there's the worst human being that's been on the face of the earth was Hitler. Here's number 2.
Hard to argue with that.
This is number 2, and me and that man were face to face and spent a couple hours together. And
just you and him.
Just me and him.
Weird.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know who that is, that was one of the 9/11 terrorists.
Muhammad Atta was the mastermind behind the bombings of 9/11, the Twin Towers. And I met him, and he came to see me. I had a plane for sale. I was selling an airplane that we had, and I took him to the airport and was in the cockpit with him, showed him the plane, spent time going back and forth from the airport. And 9/11, when I see his face, and 9/11 to me is one of the most painful days, because I know and regardless, there was nothing I could do, because the day I met him, he was a great guy. I was like, we were talking softball. He was like, he lived in Hollywood. He was like, yeah, man, I play softball too. And I was like, hey, you should come play.
So he was an outgoing guy?
Oh, you would never know. He wanted the plane. He said he was, real quick, he said he wanted the plane. He was going to have a flight school, parachute in, just in Central Florida. I can't remember where it was. He was going to have a parachute school, take people to jump out of planes, and this was the perfect plane. It was called an Antonov. It's a Russian cargo plane. It's a very big plane. And at the time, I didn't think about it. You could fit 500 people.
He was trying to buy the plane?
Yeah, it was for sale. And I took him there and started it and did whatever we had to do. And we didn't go for a ride or anything, but he checked it all out. He wanted to look at the logs, and we showed him the log books. And
now, what's the log book for somebody stupid like me?
The log book. Every aircraft has a book that they have to log every time it goes up and down. They have to keep the hours. There's no odometer miles.
Okay.
On
a car.
On a car. So they go by hours and flight time, and they divide it by how.
So that's like a written record of when the machine's been used.
Right. Okay. Exactly. So he wanted to check the logs. He was, he knew what he was talking about. So we later find out that he was going in Delray Beach. He was at a jet pilot simulator classes to fly jets. Afterwards, this all came out, and he's been doing that for 2 years. He was a good enough pilot that he was able to get into that plane after they took the people out of the
So what do you think about the conspiracies that say there was no fucking...
There's no conspiracy.
It was all done by the government.
It's bullshit. There's no conspiracy. That guy took that plane, and if you look at that picture of him, if you look in those eyes, there's nothing but evil.
Yeah.
In that shot. Okay? And what happened was, the reason I had the license, because I have that license, and that form next to it is because this happened when I was working with Jimmy at the Fed Trust liquidations. The rental place was in Pompano, about a mile and a half from our shop. He rented the car from that company, Warwick Car Rentals. After the car was confiscated, Warwick got it back, and Jimmy wanted to buy the car because it had It had biohazard stickers on it because they remember all that anthrax shit was going on. So they dusted the car, had all the dusting, and they never really went into the car. Once they cleared it, they gave it back to Warwick. He's like, what am I gonna do? Who's gonna rent this thing? So Jimmy bought the car. We owned it. It was in our warehouse.
Wow.
So one day I went into the car. I said, fucking, what's gonna happen? That's cleared. I went in to clean it, not to clean it, to go in, and I opened the glove box, and that was in there, and the copy of his receipt for the rental, and the rental agreement for him renting the car. That car he took to Boston.
Because they took it from the airport.
Because he drove from here to Boston with that car, left that car at the airport in Boston, and that's when he took off from Boston into the World Trade Center.
Creepy little thing I just noticed looking at his ID is if you guys look right next to where it's blacked out, it expires on something 1101.
Right.
It's very odd. We're gonna get into this more because it's just fascinating to tie in.
It's crazy. It's a crazy story.
But your story's crazy.
My story's crazy.
And I want to thank you because you're really what Michael's, in my opinion, what Michael's vision was when he had this idea, when the flux capacitor came to his mind after he hit his head on the toilet. Right, Doc? But it's a really good reference.
That's
right
good,
there.
really good.
Most people aren't going to pick that up. It was pretty good.
I hope no Syrians come in with shotguns.
Yeah, no, the Syrians! Wait, where'd he go? But you really are what the show's model of a person is.
Right.
You had this first act of your life, and then you changed, and you're an inspiration to people. You know, God takes messes and makes messages.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you for coming, and I
Thanks
really
for having
hope
me.
that you come back and teach me how to be healthier.
No, man, that's the whole thing. If I could spread the word and get people healthy, it's funny because I don't want to be like a hypocrite, because you're like, before I was this fat guy, and I ate my ass off, and I could choke down a whole pizza, and I, like a couple of my friends, I'm not naming names, but they're still heavy, and I don't want to say, hey, buddy, don't eat the chocolate cookies, and I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, what, now you're fucking skinny and you're thin and you're gonna tell me what to do. I don't want to be that guy. If you want my help, you ask and I will help. If you don't, I will not tell people, hey man, why don't you have one scoop ice cream, because you don't know what that person's going through. I'm an eater when I'm nervous and I was upset. That's what I wasn't 262 for 15 years.
But then life hit you hard.
Life hit me hard, and the way I comforted myself was, hey, let's go down to Mimi's and buy a box of raviolis.
Instead of the bar.
40, exactly.
I went to the bar, some people went to...
Right.
It's an addiction just like booze.
And people,
same thing.
And the thing, it's not the same thing, and I'm going to tell you why. If you don't eat, you die.
Well, yeah, you have to eat some food.
You can go without alcohol. You could drink water. You're not going to die unless you overdo it. People have to eat to live.
But nonetheless, it was medicated. You were self-medicated.
Yes. I went down to Mimi's,
like
I'd get a box of 50 raviolis and say, hey, I could eat these, no problem.
And just forget, escape reality.
Same thing happens to your brain that happens when you drink.
Exactly.
When you eat.
Escaping reality.
It's an escape. It's a comfort.
Mm.
It's not really an escape. It's a comfort. It's making you feel good for that hour, because after that hour,
reality
you feel like
back.
Shit. Why the fuck did I just eat those raviolis? Now what's going to happen?
That I think is similar to the alcoholic and the addict.
That is.
Why did I get drunk last night?
Right.
Why did I clear out the bank account and buy all those pills?
You got to change your whole mindset to the food.
And then you become a mind game, and you play these mind games, and your mind starts to wander, and that's it. That's what I'm saying. You have to eat to live, but you have to eat smart. I've had a great support system. My girlfriend, Gail, has been a godsend. She's the best.
From heaven.
She weighs this. She's about 105 pounds, and she's beautiful, and she doesn't have to lose any weight, and she don't have to do anything, but she follows whatever I eat, and she's made it easy. If we go out, she doesn't pig out in front of me. She won't eat stuff in front of me. She's not a sweet eater anyway, but you know what I mean? It was good to know.
For you.
Right. She makes sure I have my almonds, and she makes sure I have my eggs, and she makes sure she's just been there. And now she's at the point where, stop. Enough. You don't have to lose no more. You need to eat. Enjoy yourself. Reward yourself. Because I put, even now Sundays, I don't watch. It's it's my day. If I want to have pizza, like yesterday, I had a slice
Football
of real
day.
pizza.
Gotta
Yeah, I
have
did.
popcorn or
Yeah, I had
something.
a real, I had a little tortellini, whatever.
You guys have though. You and Mike said the same thing. You guys don't want to, this health transition that you both experienced is so beneficial in your life that it can't not get you excited.
Right.
You want other people to
share.
feel it,
Yeah, it's like you want to share, but you want to be a pusher.
But you know what you guys do have is the strongest teacher, the power of example.
Yeah.
The power of example. People can see you doing it. You're really living it.
Right.
For people that want to know and be like that, they'll pick that up. You ain't got to tell them anything probably. They'll see what you're doing and they'll want to be like that.
Right. They say, well, that's great. I could do that. And then they're like, you mean I got to cook? You mean I got to do... Yeah.
I mean, it's not just handed to me. I got to work at it.
I mean, you got to put in a little effort to get, going. So I have a friend right now who's dying for me to help, and I did stuff and I showed them, and they're like, it's great, but I'm not a cook, and it's nothing. You're not really cooking anything. It's just, it's simple.
People don't want to do effort.
People got to be ready.
It.
People don't want to
That's
put in
it.
fucking effort for anything.
They're lazy.
Expect you're going to get something.
Here's one thing my
without
dad
effort.
I'm gonna probably get in trouble here.
No, say
okay,
what you
I gotta
want.
say something. I'm old school. I'm a Generation Xer, and I grew up with the kids. Nowadays, my daughter's 24, my son's 21, and I've seen it, and I've seen the way the kids are now, and I call it the instant gratification generation. If they don't get it now, it's a freak out.
Because look how they grew up.
So they don't need effort.
I want this right now. I want to talk to this person right now.
Or they were complaining
right
and
now.
crying,
This right
and
now.
mom
This right
said, "Here, take this pad and just
Yeah.
play."
Yeah.
And that's what they know.
Or even dinner.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was this. This is what's for dinner.
I know.
If you don't like it, you're going to bed hungry.
Right.
Now with my kid,
It's like-
I'm like, all right, Max, so we can have
Right.
this or we can do this.
Oh,
Or
well,
my
how
kid's
about-
got like 9
Yeah.
choices, and they'll be like, I don't want any of them.
Here's a better one. I don't like what we're having. How about, could you Uber me some food in, or whatever that company?
Delivery
Yeah,
dudes.
Yeah, whatever it is. Uber me some food. What fucking Uber?
But they
you
have
food
the choices we didn't have as a kid.
It's, what, technology is great, but technology
Yeah,
sucks.
You could lose yourself in it though.
Yeah.
I've no joke sat in like YouTube and been like,
No.
I just watched like 2 hours of video.
No,
like 2 hours.
You know what
I do
happens
that
to me?
shit
I get up.
Where did 2 hours just go?
No, I get up in the morning, and now I realize I get up in the morning and I put on Facebook at 7:30. I look
Boom.
again, it's 9. And my girlfriend said to me, that's an hour and a half. She goes, you could be at the gym, and you'd still be home by 9:15, and you didn't miss nothing.
She's good.
And she's so fucking right, and that's
She's
why
good.
I got to start.
But you
One
know
more
what?
pound.
Everything she says, like that little thing, or hey, eat your nut,
Yeah.
eat these nuts, or like, you know what? Reward yourself. You know what all that is? I love you. I love you. I love you. I
she's the
love you.
best. She's my rock. She calms me. You hear people she has a way, like Tarzan and Jane. I get nuts. She just knows how to put me on my level.
Wait till this
I'm not on my
episode comes
meds
out.
anymore.
Wait till this episode comes out.
I don't even have to take meds
Reward
anymore.
him. Reward him.
I don't have to take meds because she
There you
does
go.
it without the meds. I was on.
How good is that?
She's his drug. This is like the cheesiest ending to any
Yes,
any
right.
interview we've done
Oh,
yet.
man,
But you know
cheesy.
what? It's good. That's why we're gonna have you back.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about your recipe that's really intriguing to me. And I know to Michael as well, because you guys are both on that like health food tip. I'm not. I had Wendy's last night. It was fire.
You weigh like nothing, so.
I'm 5 foot nothing, $1 I haven't grown up yet. I want to be a real boy. Listen, from Michael Stone, Justin Sims, our special guest, Michael Chiarelli. This has been an awesome story. Follow this guy. He's doing something
me.
right, obviously. And we're going to have him back soon. Second Act Podcast. We'll see you real soon.
Thanks.